Hey everyone, so the letter from the producer number 69 came on so early this morning, and I did wind up watching the whole thing, and was pretty sad to see that our favorite translators were not there. Luckily, all of the slides shown had English in them as well, so I was able to follow it well enough. Obviously, I was missing a bit of the context that was given, but I think I was able to make do. So, what this letter focused on is what we could expect in 6.1, and my god, this patch seems to be a beefy one. Now, I won't be covering everything here, but I will be looking at what really caught my eye, which was most of the stuff anyways. So, let's start with the story stuff. So, I think it goes without saying that the continuation of the MSQ is one of the best things about 6.1, at least in my opinion. I cannot wait to see what these amazing storytellers have up their sleeves. And you know, with the MSQ being expanded on, means we will be getting a brand new MSQ dungeon as well. You know, all of the dungeons in Endwalker have been nothing short of amazing. They have just had such high quality, and so I have pretty big expectations for this new dungeon. Next up, a new tribal quest is also coming to 6.1. The Arcasadora tribe quest to be more specific, or you know, the elephant people. Personally, I love the tribal quests and the stories that came with them, but more importantly, this will introduce another way to level up our battle jobs. So you know, if you have some jobs that you want to level passively, now you have another option to do so. Between this and the fairy quest, leveling up your alts will never have been easier. They will also be furthering the Hildebrand adventures. You know, after an expansion of not having seen him, that should be pretty epic. I know it's probably not for everyone, it's very over-the-top storytelling, but what can I say? I love it, and I cannot wait to see the next zany adventures of our beloved Hildy. Lastly, if you finished all of the role quests, there will be an extra bit of story there to do in 6.1. Now, that can be quite the commitment. You need to level the 5 different roles all the way up to level 90 to complete this, but if you have, there will be more to do in 6.1. So, with all that story stuff out of the way, let's start talking about what we can look forward to with the rating in 6.1. So, first of all, the new Alliance raid will be making its debut in 6.1. It's called the Myths of the Realm, and this raid will focus on the gods that we've known and loved since, well, since before A Realm Reborn. And this has me very happy, because it will focus on Final Fantasy XIV story and lore. I mean, I did like the Nier raids, the encounters and dungeons were top shelf stuff, but the story never really hooked me. Now, the Myths of the Realms, that premise is very exciting. Learning about the gods, possibly even fighting them. I mean, there are 12 gods, and most Alliance raids have 12 bosses. The Ultimate Duty is also coming in 6.1, which I am sure all the hardcore raiders are very excited for. I have no idea when my raid team will be trying to tackle that, but the premise is yet again very exciting. It's the Dragon Song War, Heavensward stuff, dragons and knights. I think it's going to be awesome. Finally, they are also bringing in the extreme version of Endsinger, as well as a new Unreal trial, this time the Ultima's Bane. I feel like that is a pretty healthy chunk of raiding content for us all to sink our teeth into. I'd imagine the Ultimate Duty will be a long progression path for most groups, and for players not looking to do that right away, you know, or at all, they have the Alliance raid and Unreal trial to sink their teeth into. Next up, I am going to go over a bunch of other announcements with no particular theme. We're going wild here. There is no order, so strap on in. So, PvP will be getting a new mode in 6.1 as well. Now, I am not going to lie, I have never been a huge fan of PvP. Well, at least PvP in MMOs. Not in World of Warcraft, not in Guild Wars 2. it's just never clicked for me. Now, with that being said, the new mode, called the Crystalline Conflict, does have me interested, and despite my reservations about PvP and MMOs, I am still excited to give it a go. Also, I am so happy they are trying to make PvP a better experience for all of those that do enjoy it. I want more players to come into Final Fantasy XIV, and I know that PvP is a good way to do that. So they also went more into the Adventurer plates, which were previously known as calling cards. Now what this feature is basically a profile display feature with customizable character portraits. Now, would it be sad if I said this is the feature that I might be the most excited for? What can I say? I love the idea of it, and it gives me more ways to express myself. Next up, they mentioned that they are bringing something called the Unending Codex in 6.1, which is basically going to be a glossary of characters and terms that you can view through your collection menu. Now, I think this is pretty awesome. It can be hard to remember every character you've met, and all the different terms introduced throughout 10 years of story. So having it all in-game with a cool UI to browse through, now that's going to be a great quality of life improvement. Now, they are also adding more glamour plates in 6.1, so that all of us fashionistas out there can save more outfits and be dressed to impress for whatever occasion comes our way. They are also adding a quality of life change to the market board by adding check marks to minions, mounts, hairstyles that you have already used on your character, so it will be easier to see what you have and what you need. So, let's finish this off by looking at the changes coming to A Realm Reborn. So, the trust system will be introduced to the dungeons for 2.0. Now, the list of dungeons is on screen, and as you can see, they are slowly chipping away at it. Now, I cannot even imagine how much work they have to do in order to get the AI to work correctly in all of this older content. Another change being introduced to 2.0 is that Cape Westwind is going to be changed into a solo duty, which I actually would love to give a try. So I guess I'll be using New Game Plus at some point to do that. Caster Meridianum? I don't know. Will be changed into a 4-player dungeon. Finally, the Praetorium will be split into 3 different segments. The first segment will go from the start of the dungeon up until the fight with Gaius, and it will be a 4-player dungeon. Then, the Ultima weapon fight will be a 4-player trial, and finally, the La Habrea battle will be a solo duty battle. So that was pretty much what had me stoked about 6.1. There is just so much stuff coming to this patch that I think everyone has something they could be excited for. What are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to read them. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Thanks again, and take care.